What's up YouTube, Adam here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you my full review of the iPad Air. Now I've been using this for 1 to 2 weeks now, and having been an iPad user since the very first one, I feel that that's kind of enough time for me to bring you guys my overall opinion. I'm going to do this slightly differently as well. I'm not going to read you all of the kind of specifications and whatnot. I'm just going to go straight into what my overall opinion is. Now, first up, just before we start, to let you know, this video is brought to you by buymobiles.net. Check them out for all of your smartphone and contract needs. I'll leave a link in the description to their website down below. Now, the iPad Air itself, and this is really probably the biggest design change since the first iPad. And in this iPad, you'll notice straight away that the overall design is very, very different indeed. Now, if we go back a couple of generations of the iPad and you check out my review then, you'll notice that I actually complained that the actual edges and the corners were fairly sharp, not to touch and not that they're going to cut you, but because of the weight of the device with that Retina display and the big battery, after a period of time of holding it, they really did start to dig into your hands. Now, the new iPad, the iPad Air, has changed fundamentally. The corners are much more squared and much more soft, much more forgiving when you're actually holding it. And the most significant change with the iPad Air, over and above anything else on the device, including the speed and the shape and everything else, is the weight. This thing has come down significantly in weight, and it really does make it so much nicer to use. The iPad itself, obviously, you kind of hold out in front of you most of the time. You're generally not working on it on a flat surface, and therefore after a little period of time it can get fairly weighty on the arms. But this brand new iPad Air makes a huge difference in terms of the actual comfort of using it, both ergonomically and also from a weight department as well. What Apple have also done is they've actually shrunk down the bezels on the left and right hand side, and the reason they've done this is because they've introduced some technology which means that even if you've got your thumbs all over the screen, it completely ignores them and just concentrates on the input that you actually want them to. So therefore you can actually hold your thumbs on the screen without impacting on the input of the device itself. Now, I'm not one to use the camera on the iPad for photography. Whenever I see anyone do it, it kind of makes me cringe just a little bit. But the camera on the front has been significantly updated and has got some much better low light performance. And in fact, you can head over to my vlog channel to check out a video that I did on that just a few days ago. Now, in terms of the internals, the screen has been updated ever so slightly. We've got exactly the same resolution, but the actual quality of the screen seems to have jumped up just a tiny bit. The loudspeaker as well is definitely a significant improvement over the previous generation. And as we dive deeper into the internals of the iPad Air, we really do notice some even more significant changes. This has got the brand new A7 processor, and it makes a significant improvement in terms of performance. Now, if you compare the Geekbench benchmark between this and the iPad 4, you'll see that the actual multi-core score of the iPad 4 is not even the same as the single core score on the new iPad Air, and the multi-core score on the iPad Air absolutely blows the previous generation away. Now onto software, and this is really where the iPad absolutely blows everything else out of the water, and I don't mean the operating system. iOS 7 has been a nice upgrade, although it really does need to be tweaked a little bit more for tablets. I'm talking about the applications themselves. There are literally tens or maybe even hundreds of thousands of tablet optimized applications for the iPad Air, and that is really what actually separates this from pretty much everything else that is out there on the market today, apart from its little brother, the iPad mini. Now, the applications that you can get for the iPad Air, like I say, tens of thousands of tablet optimized applications, and some of them are just absolutely fantastic. The graphics are phenomenal on the games, the productivity are phenomenal on the productivity applications, and for media consumption, although this isn't a 16:9 ratio screen, it's still fantastic for consuming media. Now, my overall opinion of the iPad Air, do you guys need to go out and buy this device? Well, Me personally, although I love my Nexus 10, it's got a significant shortage of tablet optimized applications, and I could only recommend an iPad as a tablet to anyone out there who's looking for a tablet today. Now obviously there's multiple versions now with the iPad mini, the mini with Retina display, and also the iPad 2 and the iPad Air, but any one of those will be able to run those optimized applications, and that just makes this device absolutely phenomenal. The stuff that you can do with it is absolutely out of this world. Now in terms of the iPad Air itself, the actual device is now phenomenal. You can kind of see the way that I'm just sort of flipping this around right here. You couldn't have done that with the previous generation. It was just too heavy. The ergonomic changes where it sits in your palm are a significant improvement as well, along with that weight. And I really do feel that this is an absolutely fantastic upgrade, regardless of what previous version iPad you're on. I would definitely recommend, if you can, get yourself a nice upgrade to the iPad Air. There's a huge amount of things inside this little device that make it a worthwhile upgrade. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. Please do hit that like button for me, and I will see you all in the next video. See ya.